was the quintessential tycoon of the last century.
The attractions of Howard Hughes is that he could make anything happen.
It's such an extraordinary and complex story.
There's no doubt Howard Hughes has so many facets to him, but one of the main attributes is really his courage, his innovation. And just a guy who would just break all the rules.
Feel like a little adventure, Miss Hepburn. Do your worst, Mr. Hughes.
I initially read a book about Howard Hughes when I was about 20 years old, and there was something about him that really struck a chord with me. There was something so mysterious about this man, so complex. And there's so many different facets of his life that people get excited about, whether it's building the largest airplane, making the largest epic of the time, which was Hell's Angels, the first $1 million feature, or whether it was him bedding all the most beautiful women in the world. I knew that I had this one shot to sort of make this film during this time period, especially with Martin Scorsese directing, and I just jumped on the opportunity.
In the 5 years that I've been working on The Aviator, the only other living human being who has read every draft of this script is Leo DiCaprio. He's been involved from the very first day to the very last day of principal photography and past that. You know, his commitment to this project, to me, to the story, has been unbelievable, and nothing I've ever experienced with an actor like that before. The way he went in and researched every aspect of Howard Hughes' life, his movie making, his romantic relationships. He talked to people about all of this to experience what it was like being Howard Hughes, and he brought that experience to my work on the script.
DiCaprio is certainly one of the few people I've seen who has that great gift where he put it all together at a very young age. He has the wisdom and the intelligence on film in a practical way, in performance, of much older people.
I read your resume and talked to your references. You know what I'm looking for?
Well, as I understand it, you're looking for a second-in-command at Hughes Tools, someone to help oversee the financial aspects of the business.
Yeah, I'm looking for somebody to run it and do a damn good job.
And the amount of research that he's done, he's sort of consumed by it, and that really comes across in his work.
From all the accounts and all the research that I did, I tried to make the most accurate portrayal of him that I possibly could. I wanted him to sound authentic, and I wanted him to look authentic, and I wanted his accomplishments to be up there on screen, and also try to capture his character and his personality as best I could.
All right, listen, boys, something new. Jet airplanes. You know anything about jets?
No, but it sounds expensive.
Oh, it will be, but we gotta get started. Here, come on, walk with me.
Certainly, along with the challenge of creating Howard Hughes, one of the most difficult characters to create in the film was Katharine Hepburn, played by Cate Blanchett.
Now we both know the sordid truth. I sweat, and you're deaf. Aren't we a fine pair of misfits?
Katharine Hepburn, in many ways, was the love of his life. There was something exciting between them. There were sparks between them that she talks about, that he elliptically talked about as well, and they both didn't fit in.
It's one thing to play someone who has lived and people have an image of them, and then it's another thing entirely to play an actor who has lived and breathed on screen and become so iconic in the same medium that you're trying to represent them. And so I said to Marty, well, what are you expecting? What's the tone of the film? He very clearly said that he didn't want a sort of a burlesque cabaret act. He was very clear about the fact that I was playing a character called Katharine Hepburn.
Hold on to the wheel for a bit. Well, she's all yours.
Where are you going?
I think there's some milk back here.
Another character we chose to dramatize, simply for the reason she was too juicy not to, was the great Ava Gardner. In the script, my stage direction for Ava Gardner is very simple. It is, she is the most beautiful woman in the world.
Don't worry about it, Howard. She's just working the room. It's her job, baby. I think Ava very much enjoyed his company. You know, they would fight like crazy.
There was a real passion and a real sexual attraction between the two. He was crazy about Ava, as probably any man would be, and tried to wine and dine her and fly her all around the world and do fantastic things for her and give her lavish gifts to try to win her heart over. But she, like Howard, was one that was not going to be won over easily.
So you feel like going to Paris?
No.
TWA starting up flights to Europe. Thought I might pilot the first one myself. Ought to be some fun.
Lots of good shopping in Paris.
Hell, I'll buy you anything you want.
You can buy me dinner. How about that?
If there's anyone today that could play Ava Gardner, and she is a handful to play, it was Kate Beckinsale, and she did a wonderful job in portraying this short but really exciting relationship between Howard Hughes and Ava.
Ava, what do you think about trans-world airlines? Transcontinental and Western just doesn't fit anymore. Now that we're going international, we need a name that reflects that.
Trans world is good. Kind of peppy.
TWA, right? Keep the same initials, that way you don't need to repaint any of the planes.
That's you. Always pinching pennies.
There's no doubt that there are some wonderful actors alongside Leo in the picture. John Riley playing Noah Dietrich, who was the head of his business in a way, and sort of almost like a father figure to him.
Look, Brewster's CAB bill just isn't going away. That bill passes, and you bought all these goddamn planes for nothing.
We're fighting the CAB bill.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, how do you suggest we keep TWA flying? Now, look, Howard, you gotta make a choice. You wanna be bankrupted by the big plane or by the big airline?
John and I have worked together 3 times now. He's a wonderful guy, one of the great character actors of our time. He is a chameleon. He can transform himself for any given character. And I think that's why Scorsese loves to work with him so much.
Alan Alda playing Senator Brewster. Alan Alda's a favorite of mine over the years, and what I was interested in Alda's ability to spin things in a way. They spin it and make it seem like everything's fine. It's the all-American way.
It's time for you to introduce the community airline bill on the floor of the Senate.
Is it done?
My people are finishing it right now. I also have to get you on the committee investigating the national defense.
On the committee or chairman? You know, I could be much more effective as chairman.
Chairman, that is interesting.
I think both Alec and Alan did unbelievable jobs in this movie.
Now, Mr. Hughes escorts the lovely starlet Jean Harlow tonight.
Gwen Stefani was genius for Marty to come up with that idea, and that was his idea. You know, let's have Gwen Stefani as Jean Harlow. You know, she pulled it off superbly.
Marty was looking for somebody who had that quintessential 20s platinum blonde look that Jean Harlow really created from the film Hell's Angels. And he was driving down Sunset, I believe, as the story goes, saw Gwen Stefani up on a billboard, said, "Who the hell is that? That looks exactly like Jean Harlow."
You could imagine how excited I was. I mean, obviously an idol of mine, you know, she was the original blonde bombshell.
She really did her research for the role, and I can't think of anyone that could have better portrayed Jean Harlow than her.
I would like to use this occasion to publicly thank Mr. Hughes for the opportunity he gave me.
Everyone we went out to for casting in all the characters were our first choice. And it comes back to, do you want to be in a Scorsese film? Most actors do for at least once in their lives.
He's so gentle and so excited and passionate about making movies.
I think he's the greatest living filmmaker out there, and he just creates an environment where he gets the best work from people, and I think that's why actors love him so much.
What he's doing is communicating. That becomes part of his style of directing, and the performances all reflect that. You see real life happening among all those actors. Plus, he knows the camera like nobody's business.
Marty and I had a great working relationship with Gangs of New York. We loved working together. And he explained to me when I gave him the script that he knew nothing about aviation. But he also said, I did Raging Bull and I knew nothing about boxing. So I think he was really excited, intrigued about who Howard Hughes was.
Yeah, sure. There's cats. Yeah, that's what I learned.
He knew about the period in the 20s and he loved that time period. And he loved also the idea that Howard Hughes was a great adventurer and a great explorer in the world of aviation, and he loved the basis of the character. So these were all fundamental themes that he felt he could do something with.
He's constantly expanding your mind as well as your craft. You know, I've been really challenged by it. He's a walking lexicon of film.
Scorsese has adapted and found a way where he still makes movies that are commercially successful films and honored films and important films 25 years after he started. Scorsese is as relevant and as talented as he was 25 years ago. That's a miracle, really.
I admire people who will stop at nothing until they accomplish what they want to accomplish, and I believe Howard Hughes did.
We're dealing with the humanity of Howard Hughes. There's a natural fighter in him and a guy who really wanted to change the world.
Fastest man on the planet.
How marvelous.